Cardiff Castle is a medieval castle located right in the city centre. You can't miss it. It is a strange castle because it has some very old and some relatively recent elements, and some people think it is not a castle at all because parts of it are new. In the 1st century AD, the Romans built a fort where Cardiff Castle stands now, on the River Taff. The name Cardiff actually comes from the Welsh words Caer Taff, meaning fort on the River Taff. In the 11th century, construction of Cardiff Castle was started inside the ruins of the old Roman fort. The work was commissioned by William the Conqueror, and the castle formed the heart of the medieval town of Cardiff.
My name's Wyn Davis. We're in Cardiff Castle, and actually we're sort of between the main clock tower now and the main house in what is really a Victorian recreation of a medieval walkway.
Can you tell us about this castle and what makes it special?
What makes it special really is that you've got 3 distinct phases on one site. The Romans came here originally in 55 AD. Their original fort was of wood and no longer exists. The present Roman remains beneath the site actually date from about 270. So you've got the Roman remains. In the centre of the ground you've got the remains of the Norman castle, so you've got the medieval phase. And what you've got originally here is a 15th century house, but it had a complete makeover in the 19th century. So you've got a lot of Victorian work. Now, there were additional things in between, but the 3 distinct phases really are Roman, Norman and Victorian, unusual to have on one site.
Wyn, can you please tell us about the 3 rooms we're going to see?
The 3 rooms you're going to see today, the first one, the winter smoking room, and that really was a room where gentlemen came in the evenings after dinner. They'd smoke, they'd drink, they'd talk. It was like a gentleman's social club, and the whole room is themed, so as you look up into the ceiling, you get the zodiac signs, the months of the year, you get the seasons, you get the times of the day. The fireplace, that's a scene of love. There's a large piece of furniture, that's basically where the cigars and drinks were kept. So really you're talking about a gentleman's smoking club. The banqueting hall itself is the largest room in the house, and really what you're looking at there is the recreation of a medieval hall, and that involved stripping out 7 bedrooms, and the theme of that very much on the ceiling. You see all the shields. It's the history of the family. The 3rd Marquis of Bute, who owned the castle in the 19th century, was a Scotsman. It traces his history back to Robert the Bruce of the Royal Stuart line. As you're coming down the walls, you're seeing the medieval history, the anarchy. It was a big battle that took place in the 12th century between 2 cousins, Stephen and Matilda. They were fighting for the English throne. Well, anyway, Stephen quickly became king after 19 years of fighting. They still hadn't sorted themselves out, so they came to an arrangement, the arrangement being that when Stephen died, Matilda's son would become king in his place, which he did as Henry II. As for the library itself, now the family were only here for 6 weeks of the year. They had many homes in Britain. It's a large library. The original collection of books went with the family. They were largely religious. Bute, amongst other things, a devout Roman Catholic. He was a theologian, but he's also a linguist. He studied and could understand, with varying degrees of fluency, 21 languages. He studied history, he studied literature. The place was full and crammed with books. It's full and crammed with books today, but not the same ones, and not quite so interesting, I think, as some of the books that were there originally.
Take a look for yourself next time you're in Cardiff. It's open all year, apart from the 25th, 26th of December and the 1st of January.